Hi, this is Bill, and this is going to be a box opening and initial thoughts on the HoBao Hyper 10TT Druggie. This is the box. I just actually purchased this car through Tower Hobbies, and I got it on a sales promotion. I think it came out to about $200 shipped after the Tower discount. And what I bought was the 80% roller version of the car. I've actually owned three of these 10TTs in the past, so this will actually be my fourth one, but I've sold them a long time ago. There was a little bit of an issue where people had confused the brand HoBao with OFNA, and OFNA used to be a distributor in the United States, and they had went out of business in the middle of 2016, and so there was a lot of question and concern about what would happen to the OFNA brand, and they have since reopened up a distribution center within the United States and have been distributing through different sources all around the U.S. So there's with promise of good part support, I've decided to go ahead and get one. There's my local race club. The class is starting to pick back up in popularity. There's a handful of guys that are talking about resurging the class, so I'm going to be one of the guys to jump on. What I'm seeing here is a nice instruction book with a decal sheet, window masks for the body, and a nice instruction manual. It's got a little parts exploded parts view, detailed instruction of how all the assemblies go together as far as doing rebuilds for the car. It is 80% built for you, but I would not consider this. I would probably rebuild all the diffs is what I plan to do, and I'm going to post a video or a link to this video and explain all of my setups and everything I'm going to be going with and all the tips and tricks along the way. In box stock form, this car has not been known to be the most durable platform, and it's received a lot of grief over the years. I know that some people have complained that they feel they shouldn't have to buy upgrades in order for a car to be decent, but this unfortunately is one of those platforms where there are just necessary upgrades that are required, and I'll kind of try to touch base a little bit on them here and there. And HoBao has done a decent job with trying to do upgrades where applicable. So the tires are not the best. They're kind of more of a medium compound, almost not really a hard compound, but they're definitely probably not the best performing tires for most tracks. And the foams are an open cell foam, perfectly good for a basher or someone trying to get some practice in. I think they're going to do okay. I probably won't mount these. I'll probably just kind of put them off to the side. It does come with a white wing. It's got some tools in here, some Allen wrenches, body clips, some spacers for the wing mount, and a few extra spare parts for the arm holder bushings is what I'm seeing in there. And that's that. Clear Lexan body. Looks like it's already pre-trimmed, which is really nice. And the car itself, let me try to get some more light. Pull this box off to the side and see what we're looking at here. So, one of the things that was a durability concern. So if you're looking at an older car, an older HoBao car, what you'll notice is on the rear arms they have 3-hole inserts on the lower part of the arm here. The older design only had 2-hole inserts, so that was the old design. So you'll know if you have the new design with the 3 holes. Another thing to look for, and try to see if I can get in there, is on the rear hub here. See, it's a solid black plastic all the way along here. The older design had a gap in there, and that was a weak point of the old design. So this is a newer hub style, so you'll know that these are some improvements that they've made. Like right here, there's an extra piece of webbing reinforcement on this arm here that didn't exist with the older design. Same thing on the front arms. They actually did some updates on the front arms as well. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been, good grief, it's probably been about 2 or 3 years since I've last seen it, but I do know they reinforced the front arms too. They're still not the most durable, so one of the things that I plan to do, and I've already ordered it, hasn't come in yet, is there's an aftermarket front bumper that's sold by T-Bone Racing, So I'm going to replace this and put the bumper. It's much wide. It has a much wider stance, and it does a better job of protecting your front arms, shocks, and what have you. Another thing that I ran into when I used to run this, and I've already ordered it, is there is an aluminum upper support brace. I felt that as a necessity. I've run into times where you go into a cartwheel or you hit a wall, and then this front arm will just shear off, and this will crack in the corner here and split out, and you'll lose the bushing in there, and the pin sometimes you'll lose that. And to avoid that, I'll go ahead and put an aluminum part there. There are aluminum upper arms, but I've never really had the need to it. I seldom would break them. Typically when I break them is when I was making a really bad mistake and I just hit way too hard and it caused that. There's another issue with the car, and that is the turning radius of it. Let's see if I can try to get the right angle it this way. So if you see when the steering rotates and it comes out, there isn't quite a full lock when it steers, and it creates an issue with turn radius. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to explore some options and try to see if I can make some improvements with the Ackerman settings inside the bar here. Other concerns, there is an aftermarket upgrade which I've ordered already, and STRC sells a battery bracket mount that allows you to move this battery tray farther to the rear. The battery tray by default design is set to put a 2-cell LiPo vertically, which kind of raises the center of gravity. I'll plan to actually cut a notch out of the tray and be able to lay the battery flat on the tray, and that's another thing I want to do. So I'm flat, move that farther to the back, and try to see if I can't mount the speed control down here. Right now it's a pretty tight space, but if I move that battery tray farther to the rear, I should be able to get that speed control down there and keep that center of gravity nice and low. Another thing that I'm seeing that's different is the springs. The old springs used to be orange, and now they're using silver springs, which is, I believe these are a slightly stronger or more rigid rate. Other problems that I've had with this were the stock shock towers are kind of real thin, and they have a tendency to bend. STRC sells some aluminum shock towers that have a thicker aluminum, and SNR sells some carbon fiber towers. I haven't decided which route I'm going to go yet, but that's something I'm going to consider. I haven't decided yet. We'll go from there. I'll make the decision probably within the next week or so. Other issues with the car. The rear has dog bones, and I would recommend upgrading those to CVs or CVDs. They do have CVDs in the front, and STRC has a hardened CVD. So over time, if you run a high-powered like a 4S or like a high-powered short course motor in there, 550 size motor, then these arms have a tendency to bend and tweak if you do really hard acceleration and high traction. And then the STRC dog bones are hardened steel, and they're a little bit more durable than these stock aluminum shafts. So it's something to keep in mind as another potential upgrade. Other than that, for the most part, the car is reasonably durable in my opinion. It definitely can handle taking a few tumbles and smacks into some curbs and walls and stuff. But if you're going to take this thing at speeds higher than 30-35 miles an hour and you smack into solid objects, then you'll have to expect that you're going to be breaking some parts. Other than that, let me see what kind of spur gear this thing has. This does seem to be a metal spur gear. They have an option there for a Delrin, and that kind of will quiet the car up a little bit. One thing I'm also noticing they did not include, oh yes they did, there is a spur gear, or excuse me, a pinion gear in the kit. And what size is that? I cannot see. It looks like it might be a 12 tooth. Okay, it's a 12 tooth pinion, and it looks like it might be a 5mm shaft. I can't really tell for sure. Well, I'll be able to see here in a second. I actually have the motor that I plan to use, and it looks to me like, no, it's a 3mm shaft. which is perfect for this motor. So I'll give this a setup, and this is a 550 motor that I got here from Ghoul RC. I think I paid $25 shipped or so for this one, and this is what I plan to run in it. It's a 4-pole 4300 kV motor, and we'll go from there. Let's see, any other things I can think about this car. That's about all I've got for right now. If I forgot anything that needs to be addressed, I will certainly update more information on the thread, and we'll go from there. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the forums. Thanks for watching.